Capricorn 14, an ancient bas-relief carved in granite. This is an artist working with stone, and the bas-relief is raised from the stone and itself in context of what it comes out of. So metaphorically, we have to understand that whatever we are and whatever we do, we take place within the context of our community. And there's such a lot going on. We all have our love affairs and our children and our careers and our hobbies and things. And these seem so involved at the time that we're doing all of that. All and everything in the moment. And yet, actually, they don't last. They come and go. Everything comes and everything goes. So, we want to make our stamp on the world, many of us, in a way where our creative output endures so well that it survives us, it outlives us. The idea of carving something in granite is an attempt to make your creative expression last throughout hundreds of years. Now, how do we make our stamp on the world? What do we do in order to make a difference? And this sense of wanting to make a difference is universal, I think. We do want to matter. And that word matter is used not only to discuss something which is important, but also something which is physical, matter, material stuff. So we've got a clue here. We want to make something physical, usually. It doesn't have to be. It can be an atmosphere. But usually what we create doesn't last unless it's given physical form. However subtle that form is, it might be a song. It might be something very insubstantial. But nevertheless, it has some element of physical form. The song you have to sing, you have to give it sound, which is a physical phenomenon. So we're looking at how we make our stamp on the world in a way which is physical, in a way that endures, usually. And we're also looking to make it contextual, to have some sense in which it is relevant, perhaps useful for our community. And the artworks of our lives are manyfold. We have a range of things that we can do, but the essential artwork of our life is personality. We have to make all of these choices. We do it this way, we do that rather than the other, and so on. We make all of these little choices. And it takes a consistent effort to reaffirm these choices over time in our lives, for them to be seen as substantial, having substance. Because whatever choices we make are resisted. Somebody will want to choose differently in a way that impacts upon us. And sometimes we just let that go, we ignore it, it doesn't matter to us. But sometimes it does matter. And then we resist the resistors, and we strengthen our artworks, the artwork of our personality. So those people that come up against us and we encounter as resisting forces, people that stop us from getting what we want, typically we don't like them. We don't like that process, typically. And yet this degree is saying, well, think about it. If you really want to make your stamp on the world, you're going to have to overcome the resistance. You're going to have to carve yourself in granite. Anything less won't last. And the granite that we're talking about are these people that give us a hard time. They start at school. Teachers want us to work harder and get it right and do it again until it's right. And they give us this force, which is very unpleasant. And yet we have to learn how to do it properly, how to do it in a way that matters because of that pressure. It doesn't end. Then we get employers and we get other pressures in life. And we learn eventually that when coming up against some resisting force, we have to get into a different mode of being. This mode of being that chips away at granite. So we constantly reaffirm our choices, if they're important choices, again and again and again, in every moment, consistently. Those things that we do in life, and there are not many of them, those are the things that define us absolutely, in the sense that this is our mark that we leave upon the world. So if you have that inner sense of wanting to have some voice in the future, to present your case so well that it stands up to the tests of time, if you want that, then perhaps when you come upon resistance in people, when people give you a hard time, you can look at it differently. You can see these people as being the agencies through which you develop the power you need to do what you've chosen to do and influence the distant future. One way of seeing life is as a kaleidoscope. In a kaleidoscope there are many colours. They're all bright and engaging, and then you turn the kaleidoscope and it changes, and you turn again and it changes again, and none of the patterns ever repeat. We don't duplicate what has gone before. Life is just like that. We're bewitched, entranced, overtaken by the moment when desire and fascination overtake us, and we get lost in that particular momentary pattern. But then another dawn and the kaleidoscope moves on, and it's different. The love affair, it's everything for a while, and then it's finished, and you still are in it because you're grieving the loss perhaps. But then there's somebody else, and that old love affair is nothing. It's just material in your memory. It's nothing. The same with a career. You want to move into this job which seems so much bigger than you are, but you want it anyway, and you get that job, and you do that job, and you learn that job, and then you move on, and you get a better job. And you look back at that time when you yearned for something that's now lost to you. So all of these entrancements, these bewitching moments which respond to our immediate desire, they come and go. And they turn out to be nothing more than entertainment, really. Even the things that you think of as absolutely important, like your love of your children, it changes. It perhaps doesn't die, but it changes. You cannot love a 20-year-old in the same way that you love a 2-year-old. It's a different experience. And life is always like that. There's no other choice. So what we have to look for deep, deep down within us is what is basic. What's the basis of life? What is stable? What never changes despite all of the tides that come and go? It's always there and true. What measures up against resistance? So these three words, what is basic, stable, and true, they represent the foundation, the rock-solid foundation of who you are and who you will be indefinitely. It's a rare person who can actually identify within themselves those three qualities to become an authentic, solid, undefeatable person. You won't do that unless you come up against encounters of people that resist your attempts to make a stamp on the world. And when you make these people into your allies rather than your enemies, then your stamp on the world will be noticed in future, in the distant future perhaps.